Welcome back. Well, as promised, let's get chatting with the footwear company Metro Brands. That's in focus after launching MetroActiv, a new brand of stores focused on athletic footwear. We're joined by Mr. Nissan Joseph, the CEO at Metro Brands. Hi, sir. Good morning. Always good to speak to you. Well, the top talking points that we're looking at is how are the demand trends in the Q3 so far, the transition after the GST rate cuts as well, how are things panning out, and the new offerings and the store launches. But let's get to the recent announcement then, sir. You have announced the launch of MetroActiv. That's for athletic footwear. What kind of expected revenues you're looking at, the kind of expansion plan that you've seen? Clearly, there's a big potential out there, and you have launched in select cities. But I'm guessing in the next few years, you'll have a plan, maybe 3 years down the line. How big can this become?
Yeah, well, I think let me get started and talk about the positioning of MetroActiv. It's very much designed for a performance seeker, and it's for people that want to get active. And activity is really an individual-based criteria. Whether you walk 1 kilometer or you run a triathlon, this store is for you. Whether you play pickleball or you play squash, whether you play cricket or you play soccer, this is for active people, and that's hence the word MetroActiv. We carry some of the world's best brands when it comes to athletic brands, such as Nike and Adidas and Puma and so forth, and we also have Asics. So these are some very, very well curated brands that are best in class for athletes in different sports. The stores are going to be ranging around 3,000 square foot. They cater to men and women, and they carry a small offering of athletic apparel to go with your workouts, right? So the whole idea is to engage the community in getting active, and whatever level of that might mean. We've opened our first store in Indore. We're getting ready to open our store in Dehradun, followed by Jodhpur this year. And early next year, calendar year, we hope to open in Surat and Nashik. As you can tell, we're targeting really underserved communities that have a huge growth in athletic participation. So athletic participation is going to more than double in India in the next 5 years. That's just one data point. The other data point is, I don't think people know this, but there's over 700 races that happen in India every year. We all know the big four. We talk about the big four marathons, but there's over 700 races that happen in these towns that we believe is highly underserved in having access to products, access to information, access to knowledge, access to running communities and workout communities. So we want to create an entire ecosystem where we can help people get active.
Okay, all right, got that. But you don't have a ballpark number that you're looking at? Clearly big potential, but would you have a target as a percentage of your revenues, or if you want to put an absolute number out there?
Well, I think the percentage of revenues would be misleading simply because, we do plan on growing our metro-mochi, our walkway banners. It's not like we're going to stop growing the other ones to grow this one, right? So this has some catching up to do, in an arena where everybody is pretty much growing on an accelerated pace. So, as you know, last quarter we opened 40 stores. We hope to see that pace starting to become part of our DNA.
Yeah.
At the same time, we opened up another 3 Foot Locker stores in the quarter. So there's a lot of activity going on in terms of new stores. So I think what's more important is, we believe there are a lot of underserved communities like Indore, whether it's a Patna, whether it's a Hubli, whether it's a Dharwad. There are tons of these communities, there's tons of these cities where people need to have access to information and great products. So I think the opportunity is quite significant for us as we look long term, but it's part and parcel of the Metro Brands fleet of stores that we plan on continuing to grow.
Okay, all right. Let's focus on a couple of other trends then. How is demand being post GST implementation? Q3 has been as good as you expected. And tie that in terms of what can you do for the year? First half of the year, you've done around 1,279 crores. Last year, you did ballpark around 2,500 crores. For this year, what is the broad range in terms of revenues?
Let me take it one step at a time, Nigel. And I love the way you corner numbers on people. But first things first, I think we're very pleased to see the demand trend that's happened that started in Diwali and has continued through the wedding season. As you know, we're in the peak of wedding season right now. And those trends have been very consistent with what we would expect, actually quite consistent, especially compared to the lumpiness of the 3 years. And I'm calling it 3 years post-COVID because, we had the revenge shopping, then we had the revenge eating out, then we had the revenge travel. I think we had the catch-up weddings. I can't call it revenge weddings, right? So all that created a shift in how consumers spend their money, where they spend their money. It was domestic travel first, then it was international travel. Now we're starting to see hotels in Goa fill up. Airfares are starting to get on the rise again, showing that what we're seeing is the consumers going back to spending money the way they used to spend it in allocations rather than in pent-up demands of different needs that they have. So we're very encouraged by that. We're quite excited about it, actually, to see us finally getting into a normal pattern of some sort. Having said that, though, we're going to have a slightly offset January because last year we had wedding dates in January. This year we don't have any wedding dates. That stuff's going to continue. But when I look at it at a broader trend, we definitely see demand as being on the uptick, as you've seen from our numbers in the last 2 quarters. The other thing is, the GST effect, I think, has had a positive effect for us, especially in our walkway business, where almost 90% of their products benefited from the GST. But that doesn't mean Metro and Mochi were in any way not recipients of that. In Metro and Mochi, we see about 35 to 40% of our products that got positively impacted by the GST rate changes. So, we are seeing a lot of good things happening and a lot of stabilization in demand, which is very exciting for us.
So you are very confident on demand, Mr. Joseph. Quick word on margins as well. You're around, I think, that almost at that 27% mark right now. By the time we end this year, do you think you'll get to 30% as you've mentioned in the past?
Yeah, I mentioned it, and we're going to stick by it. Having said that, though, we are making some great investments right now, whether it's in marketing, whether it's on our new stores, and so on and so forth, right? So we don't expect that to be in any way dilutive to that. But I also want to assure that we're not just doing it. We're not just running our business for the sake of hitting a number there and hitting that margins. We're going to hit those margins. However, we're also continuing to invest in our business, both from a people standpoint, from a technology standpoint, and also from marketing standpoints. As we raised our marketing spends over the last 2 quarters without it being erosive to our top line.
Okay, and just a quick comment on Fila, break even there, and also Foot Locker in terms of the rollout that you are planning for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so I think Foot Locker, the BIS rulings that came in that limited the import of certain footwear products continues to have an impact on how fast we can open those stores. We're hoping that those issues start getting resolved in different ways, mainly by a lot of manufacturing shifting to India, but also, some factories getting certified abroad to bring in some of that heat product. But till we have a sense that has settled down and we have good visibility of the supply chain, we're going to just keep that Foot Locker growth a little bit on the slower side. Though we're still opening stores. We're going to open another store in Bangalore in this coming month. So it's not like we've stopped opening stores for Foot Locker. We're just being a little bit more cautious or a little bit slower than I'd like to be. And I think we'd have been a lot faster with that BIS behind us. As far as Fila goes, we are in the middle of repositioning for Fila. The repositioning is going to be about an 18 months to 24-month journey. So it's not as fast as I would like it, but you don't build brands overnight. And we want to build it right for the future. So we're not trying to rush it through. But on the flip side, we've seen some very good green shoots on some of the products we've launched, predominantly in our metro-mochi stores. So we can get a good quick read as to how that positioning is coming across. But we're also excited to see that Fila is selling really well in Foot Locker and in both footwear and apparel. So there are some good early green shoots coming through, but I'm not going to get out the party hats and start celebrating it. It's a road ahead, but that's how we do things. We're building it for the long term.
Thanks very much and for joining us. And I think for me, the number which stood out, 700 races in India. I didn't... 700, right? So
actually, Prashant, I was being a little conservative. I believe it's actually over 900, but I thought I'd go safe on TV.
Wow, that's some number. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and good luck as you continue to execute. Thanks very much.